Let's join Heather and our leadership coach for building leaders, Ashley Cotton, as they talk about this week's high leverage practice.
Welcome to Little Bits of TLC, the podcast where we explore the dynamic world of education. Join our host, Heather Volchko, as this season we focus on high leverage practices, HLPs. Each episode will examine a different HLP, essential strategies designed to enhance teaching and improve outcomes across various educational settings. These practices focus on collaboration, assessment, social, emotional, behavioral support, and instruction, benefiting all K-12 students. I hope you're ready to be both challenged and inspired, because this season is all about mastering the HLPs. This is Little Bits of TLC. Looking for something that actually fits your life? TLC University is here for that. Each week, we spotlight something different. A webinar with real-world insights, a hangout-style interview, and a hands-on workshop or a Q&A where we answer your questions. It's flexible, it's self-paced, and most come with CEUs. So whether you're looking to grow, reflect, or just listen in, there's something here for you. And it's all in one place. university.thresholdlearning.org. That's where you'll find show notes, professional blogs, a full catalog of ACE-accredited courses, and downloadable resources. It all just keeps growing. So whether you're walking the dog, commuting, or taking a breather between the daily grind, TLC University meets you where you are. Head to university.thresholdlearning.org and check out what's new this week. See you then.
Teachers lead and participate in a range of meetings, like meetings with families, individualized education programs, or IEP teams, individualized family services plans, IFSP teams, instructional planning, with the purpose of identifying clear, measurable student outcomes and developing instructional and behavioral plans that support these outcomes. They develop a meeting agenda, allocate times to meet the goals of the agenda, and lead in ways that encourage consensus building through positive verbal and nonverbal communication, encouraging the sharing of multiple perspectives, demonstrating active listening, and soliciting feedback.
This week, we're talking about high leverage practice number 2, organize and facilitate effective meetings with professionals and families. And Ashley, in your roles, you have done a whole heck of a lot of this with students who are struggling in all kinds of different ways. So for you, in your practice, what does this look like?
Yes, I have had plenty of meetings that I've had to organize and facilitate. So I am again going to go back to what I always usually fall back on, and that is the relationship building that is involved in really making anything work. I do believe that if you have some sort of relationship and you've built that relationship with the people that are going to be in attendance at the meeting will go much better than if you do not have any sort of, relationship with these people. So when it comes to organizing and facilitating these meetings, I would say always make sure that everybody is on time. Always do introductions. Make sure that everybody knows, especially, I always look at it from the parents' point of view. Us that are in the school system, we do these meetings all the time, and it, becomes pretty just, I don't want to say easy, but a common thing that we have to do, seem to constantly be in meetings. But when it comes to the parents or the guardians or any outsiders that are coming in, they need to feel welcomed and they need to be appreciated right from the beginning. Make it known that we, value their time, start the meeting on time, listen to anything that they would like to bring up in regards to, what we are discussing, and that level of respect that you can use as leverage with the parents to understand, so they know that they're not coming in and it's your team against them. It's everybody's working together for a common goal, and that's to meet the best needs of the student, which is their child.
Yeah, and you have had some successes with some pretty contentious conversations, definitely where there's been opposing views at the table. How do you lead that? How do you walk through those really tense conversations or those tense meetings in a way that is truly collaborative by the end of it?
That's a very good question. When you're sitting with a educational team, which includes the parent and the guardian, a lot of times the educators, obviously, that are in the room, they put time and effort into what they want to tell the parent, what they want to bring to the table. And I think it is important that, we listen to what they have to say and we acknowledge that. But one of the biggest things is, and I'm going to go back to what I said before, is, making sure that that parent is comfortable. There are plenty of meetings that the parent has come in and they are, unhappy with us for some reason. They don't feel that we are doing our job for their child, whatever the case may be. And whether I am with a group of people or if I'm handling something individually, I always let that person really just let everything out. Like, tell us what you are feeling. Because if they feel heard and you respond to them appropriately once they have gotten everything out and they feel like you have really heard them, then I do believe that that comes to a a table where everybody is working together. It is usually when I have seen in my past experiences that, you have a group sitting at a table and, it's just educator, 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 it might be a sped director, it might be the principal then speaks. And it just feels like everybody is against this parent or this guardian or, an advocate even that comes with them. So I do think it is extremely important to allow that parent to voice their opinion of what is going on, their struggles, take some notes. It's a serious thing. If they're bringing it to the table, it's definitely serious, but really listen to them and then, acknowledge. I have in the past too, and I think once you start where you have that relationship that's built with the teachers also, or the people that are going to be, in attendance with these meetings, they understand that if I usually step in like that, that I'm doing it for a reason because we have built that trust within one another that, I'm not going to let them leave them out, to hang dry, that I'm going to support them, but it might be in a very different approach than what, would typically happen. And it's just then having that conversation even with the teachers then afterwards that I understand you put a lot of time and effort into, what you wanted to bring to the table, but we were not going to accomplish what we needed to accomplish unless this parent felt heard and respected and on board and appreciated. So sometimes, we just have to take a little different approach with that. But like I said, it's all about relationship building, whether it comes to parents, whether it comes to with your teachers, whether it comes, with your students. If you can build those relationships, it's amazing what you can accomplish just being mutually civil.
Yeah. So I'm wondering when you've got so many different people at the table, right? I mean, I'm thinking even just within the practitioners when it comes to topics around, things that maybe our social workers are serving, some of the emotional behavioral skills that the kids are developing, and they should be acting a certain way, but they're not there yet, or they have some of these unseen, maybe mental health or internal challenges, and, how that is coming out is maybe misunderstood or misrepresented by different people at the table. How do you walk with that team where they're all, professionals and they have their own expertise in their own areas and they are showing up in ways that are true for them? How do you get all of those different perspectives to align when you're at the table, right? You're having that meeting, you're having that conversation. How do you, pull all of those, potentially dissimilar or maybe even opposing views together on behalf of that kid?
So in the past, what I have done when, especially it's a particularly large meeting, I do think you need to pick and choose and limit the amount of people and really make sure that the people that are coming to the table have something worthy to say. A lot of times we have teachers that, especially if you're in a middle school setting or even, a high school setting or even a later elementary setting, you have the student has multiple teachers. There have been times that I have had teachers, well, I really have something to say. And then, the math teacher, well, I really want to bring up this. And okay, well, so a couple strategies that I've used in the past is having those teachers meet and having one representative. That way, then it's not 4 or 5 sitting at the table. It's just one. You can still, and they choose who they want to attend that meeting, and what they choose is important to discuss. The other thing that I have had to do too is, sometimes every person that is within a building thinks that what they have to say is the utmost important, over anybody else. And that does happen. And I'm not saying that, that math teacher, what they want to say is not important, but it might not be necessary at that particular time, and it might not be beneficial to bring up at that particular time. So the another strategy that I've used, especially when it is with a parent or a student, that has a lot of outside needs other than just the basic educational classroom. When you're talking about social workers and therapists, and you could have certain people from a SPED team, is kind of putting together almost like a side agenda of this is the order that we are going in. And at this point, at this particular meeting, the social and emotional needs of the student are more important right now than what we're looking at just how they are doing in the math classroom. And we do approach that and we do discuss that because the teachers need that heard and the parents need to hear that also. But there are certain times that it is more that social and emotional need that needs to be discussed, and so you kind of just put it in order of like what's most important. You also, I do think it's extremely important to value everybody's time and make sure that if it's a 30-minute meeting, we're going to do our darndest to, stick to that 30-minute meeting. If it's an hour meeting, the same thing. And so, kind of put together in your head and let your team that you are sitting down, ahead of time, let them know that here's kind of the order that we're going to speak because these are the needs that are most important right now.
So, how do you bring the family into that? I know you've done a beautiful job here at just reiterating respect, rapport, right? Like you need to have a genuine respect for each other, even if you disagree with each other. And you need to have some kind of a rapport that transcends that one conversation that you're having. And so, if we're juggling all of this within our own teams within a school, now we're bringing in the family and, potentially other people that they're bringing with them as well. Now, what are some of those strategies that you've used to really make sure that everybody's together in this conversation?
When I talk about having on paper agenda or in my mind an agenda, a lot of times it is the parent that is even calling this meeting because, the kid has gotten in trouble for this, or, it could be academics. They're, not up to par and they're seeing that their grades are slipping. I always try to keep the meeting very, quaint and on track with what the purpose of the meeting is have those couple of things, whether I have them written down off to the side or in the back of my head. This is kind of why we are having this meeting. There are times that you have to constantly, reprompt like, hey, today our focus is, these things. These are the things that we were trying to, we can definitely, talk about these other things at a different time or if we have time, later. But really, this is kind of what the meeting, the agenda for the meeting was, and really just keep bringing people back to the real reason that we are there. And it probably is 3 4 things maybe that are going on that whether, like I said, the teacher is calling that meeting or the parent is calling that meeting, and just are times that you constantly have to, especially as that administrator or the lead of that meeting, bring them back to, well, this is the real reason that we are meeting, so let's keep our focus here.
Yeah, I think sometimes that can be easier said than done because especially with these students, there is just a lot. Like there's a lot going on. There's typically a lot going on inside of them, around them, in their community, in their social circles. Like there's just so much. And so I agree with you. Sometimes it's just telling the team, hey, we're not going to solve everything today. Right? Like our goal is to make progress. We're going to move in the right direction. We're going to make a few adjustments so that we can see if we can go a little further or faster in that better direction. But yeah, we can't solve every single thing right now. Nor could, even if we came up with solutions for every single thing, could we
Right.
actually implement them all
Yeah.
simultaneously anyway? So,
Right.
how can we prioritize, what is the big need right now? And can we root that conversation in the moment as well?
Yeah. And I'm just going to go back to the fact that too, I have always really prided myself in that relationship building. And so I think that when you have somebody that is leading a meeting that is sitting at that table, and no matter what role that person at that table is playing in that child's life, if you have that relationship and you build that trust, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work and a lot of, just being very genuine and sitting down and really listening to people and, getting to know people and letting them get to know you. It's always been something that is very special to me because I don't necessarily it's not something that I've really planned for, but I've always been able to just have those relationships. And, if a meeting is where it sounds like it's, starting to go south, I'm able to usually bring people back to the table to really be like, hey, this is what we are here to do right now. And because I have those relationships with the people that are at the table, the majority of the time they're like, yes, you are right, let's refocus on why we're really here. But that wouldn't happen, because I've seen the flip side, and I've been part of the flip side, as a teacher, or as a department head or an assistant, where you don't have that. It just makes it for very difficult. So that's why, yeah, relationship building is one of my things that is top on my list in order to just make schools and children and everything that goes into their educational processes as solid as they can be by building those relationships.
Well, I think you keep saying building relationships, but there's so many strategies that go into actually forming that relationship. And I mean, like for you, I know like you're constantly engaging people's thoughts. You're asking them their honest opinion and you're honoring that. And so it's not just like, oh, sure, share your thoughts. And then I'm just going to move on and do whatever I was going to do anyway. It's like, no, you have an active voice here and I want that voice and I am going to act on that voice as it shows up. And if you do that enough times, then people are like, oh, like she actually means what she says, right? It's not just lip service. And then that is what perpetuates the relationship, that rapport building. I always tell people, like, you're working on this high leverage practice and all you're focused on is the meeting, you're missing the mark because
Yeah.
there's so many other things that are happening around, before, and after. Gosh, if we're missing those things, it doesn't matter how great the meeting is, it will never be as good as what it could have been if we did all of that legwork ahead of time that you've done such a beautiful job today at walking through and explaining.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for sharing your expertise. I know you are in charge of lots of different kinds of meetings, and many of them fairly contentious. So thank you for sharing how you navigate some of those scenarios.
Yes, I appreciate it.
Working in a self contained, alternative education, therapeutic, or correctional classroom? Project Onward is a 6-strand cohort based project designed to help you build a strong, structured program for complex students who need extra specialized support. You'll get practical tools to set up clear routines, strengthen engagement, manage behavior, and plan instruction that actually fits the splintered needs of your students. By the end, you'll walk away with a complete, ready to use program that has been adapted to your local needs. Led by Heather Bolchko, Lathrell Eisler, Jonathan Barbario, and Manny Wasias, Project Onward blends proven strategies with vetted experience, helping you move forward with confidence. If you're creating something from the ground up or looking to update what you've got, this project gives you the structure and clarity to do it well. If you support students with low incident needs, Project Base helps you design a consistent classroom built just for them. And if you're working in general ed or resource settings with behavioral challenges, Project Thrive gives you the tools to work with, not against, the flow of your classroom. Visit university.thresholdlearning.org to meet the team and get started today. Let's move onward, together.
One of the pivotal roles of special education teachers is orchestrating and guiding a diverse array of meetings. From the annual IEP gatherings to ongoing collaborative sessions, crucial for instructional planning and progress monitoring, these meetings are the heartbeat of student support and progress. Picture a room filled not just with parents and teachers, but also with general educators, specialists in reading and curriculum, principals, and sometimes even outside consultants, all united by a common goal: crafting the most possible educational journey for students with disabilities. Under the mandate of IDEA, these meetings aren't just procedural, they're platforms where parents are empowered to actively shape their child's educational path. It's about ensuring that every voice is heard and valued equally, that every participant, including the students themselves, play a pivotal role in these pivotal discussions. To make these meetings effective requires a special set of skills: the ability to articulate the reasoning behind behavior intervention plans, to discuss effective educational practices, and most importantly, to foster consensus among a diverse group of stakeholders. These skills aren't innate, they're honed through deliberate practice and mentorship. Central to this process are the partnership principles: equality, choice, voice, reciprocity, praxis, and reflection. These aren't just ideals, they're guiding lights that help navigate the complexities of communication and decision making, in these crucial forums. By embodying these principles, special education teachers not only facilitate smoother meetings, but also cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships with family and colleagues alike. In essence, organizing and facilitating these meetings isn't just a professional duty, it's a commitment enshrined in the code of ethics of the Council for Exceptional Children. It's about working collegially, respecting each other's expertise, and actively involving families in every step of the educational journey. So, as we reflect on the art of facilitating these meetings, let us remember it's not just about what happens in the room, it's about the impact these discussions have on the lives and futures of the students we serve. In the realm of special education, the role of the educator is multifaceted, with one crucial aspect being the ability to lead meetings with colleagues and families effectively. Special educators, given their expertise in practice, assessment, and decision making, are often tasked with steering these critical discussions, particularly during IEP meetings. This responsibility highlights the need for exceptional organizational and communication skills. When a special educator is adept in learning meetings, it ensures clarity and accuracy, minimizing the risk of mistakes or misinformation. However, not all educators naturally excel in this area. For those who find these interactions challenging, it's reassuring to know that proficiency can be developed through dedication and practice. It's vital for instructors, mentors, and collaborators to provide constructive feedback to novices, helping them build their skills in this essential domain. An effective special educator engages with colleagues, HLP1, and families, HLP3, bringing the right people to the table and fostering a collaborative atmosphere. This high leverage practice, or HLP, also necessitates a solid grasp of additional SLPs within the assessment domain, 4 through 6, ensuring that meetings are not only well organized, but also grounded in comprehensive, accurate assessments. Leading meetings effectively is a cornerstone of special education. With commitment and the right support, even those who initially struggle can become adept at this vital skill, ensuring that every meeting contributes positively to the educational journey of their students. Teachers who effectively lead meetings prepare for meetings and facilitate effective meetings. Preparing for meetings. Let's talk about what makes a teacher truly effective at leading meetings. It all starts with preparation. First off, setting a clear goal for the meeting is essential. This helps everyone focus on the priorities and ensures that key tasks are accomplished. Before you even get to the meeting, it's crucial to identify who needs to be there and find a time that works for everyone involved. Once you've nailed down the date, time, and location, communicate these details clearly to all team members along with the meeting agenda. This way, everyone knows what to expect and can come prepared. Speaking of preparation, make sure to outline what each participant needs to bring to the table. For instance, if the meeting involves instructional decisions, let team members know in advance what specific data they should bring, such as assessment results, behavior checklists, or student files. And let's not forget the first impressions. Ensure that the staff responsible for welcoming and guiding parents or families have excellent communication skills. A warm and professional greeting can set a positive tone for the entire meeting. In essence, effective meeting leadership involves thorough preparation, clear communication, and a welcoming atmosphere, all of which contribute to a successful and productive meeting. Facilitate effective meetings. Leading effective meetings is a skill that can make a world of difference in special education. Here's how to make it happen. Start by greeting everyone with a positive tone. It sets a collaborative atmosphere from the get-go. Once everyone's settled, remind the team of the ground rules and review the agenda. If possible, have the agenda displayed for all to see throughout the meeting. This keeps everyone aligned and focused. Give team members a chance to introduce themselves. It's a simple step, but it helps build rapport and ensures that everyone feels included. As the meeting progresses, encourage active discussion and ensure that everyone has an equal voice, especially parents. Use guiding questions and checklists to facilitate this process. Staying on track is key. Promote consensus building to keep conversations focused on the meeting's goals. This helps maintain efficiency and ensures that all relevant points are addressed. Make sure everyone understands the student data being discussed. Clear comprehension of this data is crucial for effective instructional decision making. As the meeting wraps up, summarize the accomplishments, Review student goals and plans and schedule any necessary follow-up meetings. Finally, outline any follow-up actions needed after the meeting, such as coordinating with relative service providers. This ensures that all tasks are completed and nothing falls through the cracks. An effective meeting leader fosters a positive environment, ensures clear communication, and keeps everyone engaged and focused. This approach not only makes meetings more productive, but also strengthens the collaborative effort to support our students. When it comes to supporting teachers in their journey to become effective meeting leaders, school leaders play a crucial role. Here are some tips to help you guide and enhance their skills. First, assess each teacher's comfort level and expertise in running meetings. This helps identify who might need additional support and where to focus your efforts. Next, offer opportunities for novice teachers to observe skilled facilitators in action. Watching experienced professionals lead various types of meetings provides valuable insights and practical examples. Additionally, provide targeted instruction on the skills required to lead effective meetings. This includes both the technical aspects, like understanding IEP components, FBA steps, and manifestation determinations, and the interpersonal skills necessary to make participants feel comfortable and engaged. Don't forget to offer constructive feedback on their performance, highlight strengths, suggest improvements, and provide access to professional development opportunities tailored to their needs. In essence, supporting teachers involves a blend of evaluation, observation, targeted instruction, and ongoing feedback. By fostering these skills, you help ensure that every meeting is productive, collaborative, and geared toward achieving the best outcomes for students. When we dive into the research on meetings involving professionals and families, we can examine it from two key perspectives: effectiveness and social acceptability. Although research on organizing and facilitating these meetings is somewhat limited, there's a consensus on several crucial elements that enhance their quality. First and foremost, having clear goals for the meeting, setting a structured agenda, and establishing clear expectations are all foundational to running an effective meeting. Active listening and fostering genuine communication are not just niceties. They are essential practices that significantly boost the meeting's productivity. On the flip side, research on social acceptability often zeroes in on the satisfaction of team members and families. It highlights the value of adopting a partnership approach. By actively involving both professionals and parents, we not only gather more meaningful input, but also ensure that our message is received positively. This approach enhances the overall effectiveness of the meetings, making them more collaborative and productive. In essence, combining clear objectives with a partnership-focused approach helps bridge the gap between effectiveness and acceptability, leading to more successful and satisfying meetings for everyone involved. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Join us next week when Heather sits down with our licensed counselor, John Barbario, to talk about our next high-leverage practice.
Hey, before you jump back into your busy life, consider dropping a like and follow @Threshold Learning TLC on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And if you like our show, share the podcast with your colleagues. A personal recommendation is by far the best way to promote the podcast. Let them know that they can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere else that they catch their podcast. Just be sure to leave a rating and review on your favorite platform. You can email us at info@thresholdlearning.org. We always enjoy connecting with fellow educators and champions for educational justice. You can find everything you're looking for at thresholdlearning.org. See you there. Attention educators pursuing behavior analysis certification and universities preparing them for success. Supervision with TLC offers 100% remote fieldwork supervision designed specifically for school-based professionals. Educators can earn their hours right in their schools without leaving their classroom, all while being supported by experienced BCBAs who understand the realities of education. With month-to-month scheduling, affordable rates, and both live video and asynchronous chat, our fieldwork supervision model is designed to fit into your life, not the other way around. We also invite universities to enhance their graduate programs in partnership with our team of practicing school-based BCBAs. Our fieldwork supervision model keeps students on track for certification by helping them connect their practice to all exam domains so that they can confidently pass the exam. Explore more at university.thresholdlearning.org/supervision or email supervision@thresholdlearning.org to connect. Supervision with TLC, where educators grow into behavior analysts.